So there have been a couple of things which happened between sessions. We'll talk about that once the screen is gone, because I've been using this screen as like a notification when to scrub out tech issues. Here we go. Alright, so let's do a proper intro. Hello, my name is Mordred Viking. Huzzah! And I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Hearts of Iron 4. This is the Kaiserreich Weekly tournament. This is the final, and this is the last day of that final. So it is all to play for at the moment. We've got 4 different teams, each of those teams with 5 players, and I think they are all here. Hello.
Mordred.
Hello.
Faramir, but only for 2 weeks.
Okay. So what is it? Okay. Yeah, cool. So yeah, we have got some absolutely phenomenal players. So let's start with an introduction of Japan. In Japan, the Co-Prosperity Sphere, we have got Wyman leading in the Japanese homelands. Then we have got French Baguette in Russia. We have got the Empress of France in Fentiang, now known as the Republic of China. We have got Mazdo in Siam. And then we've got Gato in the Philippines. Meanwhile, in the Entente, we have got over here Tuken Snederik in Canada. We have got Necron Slave number 1 in the United States of America. We have got Rhino Fury in the Dominion of India. We have got Black Necron in the Nationalist France, and we have got Orgsec in Australia. And before we go too much further with this, there were a couple of things which occurred between sessions. First of all, they have tweaked the save game a little bit. So the Reichspakt nations were apparently missing the Reichspakt research thing. Particularly because nations like Sweden and Bulgaria were only able to join the Reichspakt late because of an error with the focuses. So they have been given a refund for some of their technologies so that they can actually, gain the benefits from that in retrospect. India was actually caught cheating, so India has been punished. A bunch of their templates apparently were to combat with divisions, and that's not allowed. And that's basically how they were able to pump out quite so many divisions in quite such a short time, and I think that's basically what they were using to protect their coastline. So that has been penalized. I'm not entirely sure what the penalty was, but the admins are very much aware of that type of thing happening. And I feel like there was another thing. Let me just go back over the notes. Addis Ababa was given to Canada, Tigray and Amanhara also given to Canada. So there was an error in the peace deal. So it was indeed some of the territories down here. Down here, which should have been given to Canada instead of, I think it was the Reichspakt who took it. And that has now been resolved, apparently. So what has been going on at the moment? Well, I'm kind of expecting Russia, Co-Prosperity, Japan to continue doing some naval invasions. Ooh, the other thing we apparently missed, and if we go and take a look at Canada, because it was Canada who was directly hit by this, and quite frankly, I'm not surprised. We apparently missed an absolutely giant naval battle between the Japanese and the Canadians. The Japanese lost, I think it was around 20 ships. The Canadians, or the Entente in general, I think it was Canada and Australasia, lost over 100. And if we're looking at Canada's navy, I'm not freaking surprised. Like, he's made no effort to try and organize this, not using admirals, not using missions, got everybody, like all of these are just recon missions. That basically means that they are spread out to the absolute maximum. So enemy ships that come in strike force will arrive in a much more concentrated state and just mow down the enemy ships as they basically arrive in the battle piecemeal. So, yeah, the Canadian fleet has been absolutely eradicated. And in fact, if we're looking at this now, 1, 2, 10, 11, 12, 13 capital ships left. They usually have about 20 or 30. Like, Canada, I think, is the second largest navy fleet after Germany. Meanwhile, Japan, as much as I was berating Japan for their naval strategies, they've at least got admiral selected. They're doom stacking, which a less doom-stacky fleet could be able to take apart. They're not going to be very good at power projection. They've taken a bucket load of damage and they're not repairing them, which in itself is a mistake. A big mistake, considering how badly damaged these ships are. But yeah, that is the state of affairs for Japan, and that is actually going to be probably one of the... Oh no, he's repairing now, as we speak. Although their fleet has apparently just seen another couple of... Oh, it's just a submarine. And then the other one who was involved in this was Australasia. So we're just going to take a quick look at the state of their navy. Now, Australasia's fleet wasn't badly arranged, but it's mostly submarines. So I think it was the Australasia's submarines that were in the fray, probably trying to poach a couple of Japan's. But they are way too spread out. I don't know why they've got these one submarine fleets. And they are actually fighting, as we can see from the crossed swords. So they're not just scouting, as was pointed out to me as a legit tactic. So, yeah. Not exactly great play by the Entente, and it has cost them. Japan also thought that the USA was in it, but I don't think he was. Although the US has also got a very unique way of deploying their ships, although these are all on convoy escort. So purely about trying to save convoys in various areas around the world. But yeah, Canada absolutely demolished in that fight and definitely took the brunt of the casualties there. And I'm working out why I can't see anything. What's my window change shape? That's better. And that's back in place. Okay, good. Explains the coastal block. They were just thought they were just 10 width divisions. If they were 10 width, I think they'd be legal, but 2 width, not. Because it massively lags the game out. Really confused with what you do. I'm keep being told the way to do navies is doom stacking. Well, whoever's telling you that is wrong. Doom stacking can serve a purpose, usually if you have a smaller fleet. If you're Japan, you probably want to have your navy split up and in various different locations. Because they will fight, and if they start losing, they'll retreat. And if your fleet is at all well organised, they will successfully get away. Especially if you've actually built your ships properly and given them big engines. Which admittedly is more of a problem in Kaiserreich, because all of the ships use just base level 1 modules with the starting fleets, which means that everyone's starting fleets are absolute garbage, which is why it makes such a big difference pumping out modern ships with actual decent modules, and that's why there's often a big discrepancy in the mid to late game. But we're not there. This is still like starter game fleets, and there's no reason why Japan and Canada should take such a vastly different number of casualties. The other thing I will say is Japan has taken a few naval doctrines, not a huge number, but a few, and Canada's taken none. Although Japan's gone trade interdiction, which I think is a very questionable choice for Japan. Like, they're one of the few nations which is absolutely base strike or fleet in being. I don't know why they went trade interdiction at all. In fact, we'll take a quick look at Japan's doctrine choices just to see exactly which one they've taken. I think they've taken, like, the combat bonuses in trade interdiction. And now I can actually start looking at technologies. So, naval doctrine. Yeah, he's taken the combat bonuses. Oh no, this is surface detection visibility. So he's using surface raiding, basically, as opposed to submarine or escorts. And he's got no escort stuff done at all. So somebody convoy raiding Japan could do a huge amount of damage. Especially because trade interdiction has basically no escort efficiency modifiers anyway. Nope, we paused. Why we paused? Well, the Entente not to want to play naval seems bizarre, to say the least. Yeah, it's a questionable decision. And I think it is a decision which is going to really bite them in the back as well. Having an admiral is much better than having no admiral by a large margin. Oh, absolutely. And if we take a look at the Japanese admiral, like he's adding 5 combat, 4 defense, 5 positioning and 6 coordination to his fleet versus 0. That's a big upgrade, especially for a fleet this size. Like, one thing I will say is if you're doom stacking, you bloody well better have higher stats than these two. Like, for fleet coordination especially, because the bigger your fleet is, and this is like the big issue with doom stacks, if your fleet is significantly bigger than your opponent's, your entire fleet gets big penalties to their combat abilities. So a much smaller but more well-led and more well-organised fleet can do a significant amount of damage before the bigger fleet gets their act together. If they stay in that fight and they keep exchanging fire, of course the higher numbers are going to outperform the smaller numbers. But in those initial stages, in the first couple of days before the retreat decision is made, that small fleet is going to be wreaking havoc on the bigger one. Unless, of course, you have decent fleet coordination, which can help mitigate that. Although 12%, when you're losing like 80%, yeah, it's going to help, but it's not going to be huge. And then also you have the fleet positioning and fleet retreating. Positioning, again, helps you get into those positions, so you can nullify the coordination penalties. And then fleet speed while retreating is probably going to be useful for the other guy when he's trying to get away from your doom stacks. But you can just keep on chipping away at him in different locations, and while his doom stack is engaged against one of your fleets, your other ones can be off doing other things. Are there any good naval players this time around? Union of Britain's not been bad. We'll take a look at that in a minute. We're still seeing a couple of naval battles here. This is Australasian submarines wreaking havoc with Philippines, with Japan. In fact, let's take another look at how many convoys they have. Japan's got 460. Philippines, 113. That's gone down. Siam's down to just 91. They are really losing a lot of convoys at the moment. China's out of fuel and has 367. So China and Japan at the moment are okay, but the Philippines and Siam I'm getting a little concerned about. Especially because clearly the Philippines... clearly the Philippines is trying to move people by sea. And look how much strength these guys have. That's equipment you are losing to submarines for basically no real gain. Because you're not bothering to escort at all. Is carrier overcrowding still a thing? Yep. And Japan is going to be feeling the full brunt of that because he's not taken base strike. So the fact that Japan has, I think it was 6 carriers in one fleet, they're going to be fighting at maybe 20% efficiency, if that. Yep, 6 carriers. So these are going to be incredibly ineffective. Anyway, we can now go and continue our talking. We did see that Sweden took out Norway and has become Sweden-Norway. Poor Finland and Denmark not getting their names plastered over either. But it does look like Scandinavia has now been formed by Sweden. Does that give them a new focus tree? I don't think so, no. Right, let's continue the introductions because we stopped doing that. Then we've got the Reichspakt, which is the Tuken party. The Reichspakt currently consisting of the Maelstrom in Germany. We've got Freddy in Austria. We've got Chasm in the Ukraine. We've got Purple Teaser in Bulgaria. And then Reactionary Atlas, now plastering his name over the entirety of Scandinavia. In the Third Internationale, we have got Demon in the Commune of France. We've got Ulala in the Union of Britain. We've got Pi in Spain. Devolo in Socialist Republic of Italy. And then Chite in Ireland. And that is the end of all of the introduction. So, Co-Prosperity Sphere, again, Dudes and Canoes is that team. Third Internationale is Team Outer Heaven. Reichspakt is Team Tuken Party. And then the Entente is Team Toon Boys. So let's go and take a look at some of the action that's been going on here. Oh! I am shocked. France is actually attacking Belgium? What? I don't believe it. France attacking Belgium? Please tell me it ain't so. I have a super serious question for you. Can it be the 1st of September so I can play CK3 already? Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've seen decent naval strats recently involving super heavy battleships and light cruisers. Yeah, that can work. Expensive, but it can work. If you have the dockyards for it, sure. Sweden all the way still, sadly doesn't even get cores on Norway. Okay. Learned so much watching the last 2 weekends. I'm glad. That's one of the reasons I do this. So, thank you. Oh, we've got a CNT FAI invasion of nationalist France. We've got units landing down here. We do have some naval actions trying to intercept French convoys, which is interesting. Union of Britain surface raiders in the form of light cruisers. That can be quite effective, especially if your opponent's not using strike fleets to block you. We've got CNT FAI surface fleets trying to help the invasion of Bizerta. We also have French Air Force coming in to assist, and I think this would be a good opportunity to take a look at the air situation. Green air for the French at the moment. I'm actually sure where the Entente... Oh, we couldn't see it from their perspective anyway. It would be Canada. We do have some... Oh, those are Indian. I was thinking, why are those Irish? No, they're Indian. We've got Indian forces trying to defend against another bigger CNT FAI invasion. I think it looks like they've been more or less stopped. India actually doing a good move here, attacking into Ceuta, because it means that any other forces that are arriving by sea... In fact, Ceuta's not even a port. These guys are dead. They have no port. However, they have just taken Rabat. Rabat is also not a port. Casablanca. Casablanca is going to be the dangerous position, and that is going to be where they absolutely have to be defending. Meanwhile, we are seeing more French convoys coming in. I don't know if that's going to be trade convoys or troop transports. Looks like, if we're seeing from their perspective, it's going to be trade. We have even more units coming in. Bizerta is looking a little bit concerning. I'm seeing this from France's perspective now. Everywhere green at the moment. And it does look like they'll be able to kill these guys off before they're able to reinforce. So what was lost in this battle? 1, 2, 3, 4 convoys. And actually, while we're thinking about this, let's take a quick look at the Union of Britain's naval setup. So he's split up his forces into different theatres, which is fine. He is still doom stacking with his big fleet. Not what I would have done, but okay. I will forgive you, considering you're actually using escort fleets, which is amazing. And we can see that the Union of Britain is actually exerting quite a lot of escort efficiency. Around 100% means that there is a 0% chance of torpedoes actually hitting convoys, as long as the destroyers get there. So that's going to depend on their escort efficiency stat, which we'll look at in a minute. Then we've got submarine fleets. Also, I think these are currently docked. They're currently docked. Saving fuel, most likely. And then we've got... destroyers. These might be recon. Yeah, these are recon. Currently looking around here so that the strike fleet can actually be brought into action if somebody shows up and starts fighting. And then there's also... I think you're... Oh no, you're the convoy raider. So we've got the surface light cruiser convoy raiders who we've seen are being quite effective at the moment. Using cruisers for raiding or destroyers for raiding is a good idea versus submarines, because the escort efficiency stat doesn't matter then. Like guns, it's still going to hit the convoy as long as you see the convoy. The downside, of course, is you're much easier to see. So fleets that are on escort duty will more actively fight you. But then again, very often anti-submarine warfare fleets are the ones used for escort duties, and those are not going to be kitted out to fight gun to gun versus surface raiders. So the fact that, and I like this, the Third International has got players on submarines and players on surface raiders, means it's very difficult to counter that because you've got the two different types of raiding fleet. So, well done to the Union of Britain. I'll hand it to you. The only thing I kind of dislike is the fact that they have one big Doomstack strike fleet, but it's not a huge issue. I'd probably split that in half, have 2 sets of 70. But compared to everything else, yeah, fine. And properly led, got admirals in every position. Except for the recon, but recon doesn't actually gain any experience, so yeah, it's fine. CNT FAI doing well to attack every Maghrebi port at once. Yes, this is absolutely how you want to manage a naval invasion. Hit absolutely everything at once. I also like the fact that we've got heavy naval presence in the area to cover the attacks here. I would like to see Entente shipping trying to cover this, but we have seen how badly the Entente does at sea. Like, Canada's lost the majority of their fleet. The USA has got mostly raiders and hasn't really built up very much. I don't know what France is doing with their navy. Yeah, nothing. France could really do with a couple of submarines over here. If Canada had some subs, if France had some subs, they could be doing a lot of work. I doubt that anyone else does. And in fact, if we're looking at France, we're not really seeing friendly supremacy at all, which is indicative of ships being around. Okay, so they're 4,000 over there, 5,000 here, but they're massively outnumbered by opposing ship power. So if I was France, I'd be yelling at Canada and America to send some reinforcement right now. Possibly even Australasia, although Australasia is quite a long way away. But if these naval invasions last long enough and are persistent enough, having submarines in this area could do a lot of damage. Although, ocean, yeah, submarines here would be great. Because one thing you do want to look at is the different terrain types. So for example, the English Channel is shallow sea. And you will notice that has a 100% visibility penalty for submarines. That means you are twice as likely to spot a submarine if it is active in shallow seas, and that is very often when people lose their submarine fleets, because they don't realise this. So a lot of people say, oh, but submarines are so squishy. Yeah, if you put them in the shallow seas, they are. There are traits which can mitigate that, particularly the green seas trait. And you get that for fighting in shallow seas, and also snorkels. Like, I usually would favour radar over snorkels, because radar helps you find enemy convoys. But if you have submarines dedicated to the shallow sea, create a different variant with snorkels and put them in the shallow sea. It can really help. Radar station Gibraltar together with naval bombers really puts a number on the enemy fleets and the tiles around. Haven't seen a huge amount of radar use. Nobody's even got it researched. SRI, they're the one who really should have it. Nope, none of them have it. Which I think is a mistake. SRI could probably do with radar, because they can really cover the Mediterranean. Did they land in Egypt? They have not. They've landed... Sorry, yes they have. This is Socialist Republic of... Yeah, they have. Absolutely they have. Well spotted. Yeah. So the Entente right now is kind of coming apart at the seams a little bit. We've had the huge co-pro attacks against India, which they seem to have stalled for the time being. We've got this huge naval invasion going on against the French Republic at the moment, which I think is being quite successful. And then the very successful invasion of Suez and Cairo. In fact, who owns Suez right now is currently contested, which means that no one can use Suez. So yeah, nice. Remember, 1 minute delay, everyone. I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it. As he says, looking in Oman. And we do have another... Oh no, these are different factions fighting. But yeah, it looks like Third International is doing some really nice naval action right now. And are able to exert this kind of pressure because of the naval cover that they have. Okay, we're starting to see some of the French submarines beginning to arrive, but we have escorts, which means they have a 12% chance of hitting these convoys per shot that they fire. Every single torpedo attack is a shot going out. Many of them will miss because convoys are pretty quick, plus they have the base miss chance, and now it's 100% cover. These 23 submarines can never hit anything. Completely useless. So, Union of Britain doing the right thing here, covering these convoys. Perfect. Well done. Oh, and we have the Union of Britain surface... Oh, no, 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 no. This is bad. 1 destroyer and 13 capitals. This is going to be some dead capitals. Like, they are managing to sink a few of the submarines. They have spotted a few of the submarines. That destroyer is running the hell away. But this is a 98% chance to actually hit. And capitals are big, slow-moving targets. This is going to be a field day for the submarines if they're any good. With Weltkrieg, large subs, I mean, they're not terrible. 0% screen. 13, really. No hits. Oh my gosh, Union of Britain got so lucky there. I'm actually really astonished that that was not more. Where's their escorts? Now they're starting to lose convoys. What's the French? They're literally just level 1s. Okay, so they are Weltkrieg subs. Yeah, I am... Let me just check that again. How many torpedoes do you have? 1. So that's why they weren't hitting anything, because they're firing almost no shots at all. Again, the higher your torpedo attack is, the more shots you're firing off. That's how attack in this game works. And now they are trying to screen the convoys again. And the destroyers are actually sinking submarines. For all the people that are saying that escorts never sink subs, well, yeah, clearly they do. Actually, I want to just take a quick look from Union of Britain's perspective. Because I want to click on you, select you, and see your destroyer. You have got no sonar, which is a mistake. You probably do want to refit your ship so that they have sonar. And then they do have depth charges, which is why they're able to hit anything at all. Probably using aircraft for spotting, would be my guess. No. And Union of Britain is air controller, isn't he? Yep. See, if I was Britain right now, I would position some recon in southern Iberia and have the recon planes out on the African coast. It'll help you spot the subs and affect more easily. Meanwhile, Tunis has fallen, but Tunis is still not a port, so still not able to get any supplies or reinforcements coming in. The real success is down here, and we're starting to see some more Socialist Republic of Italy forces arrive. These look like they're probably going to be bigger and just trying to take some territory. It doesn't look like they're really aiming to expand very much. They're kind of drawing a defensive cordon here, probably trying to use these mountain areas as well as the river and the desert, basically to out-supply people. Meanwhile, the Tunisian foray, I think, is going to end very soon. The Ceuta attack has ended. So, successful defense there by France. Not quite so successful defense by Canada.